Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratan Karunamayam Namami Chinmayan Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Yontah Pravishya Mama Vachamimam Prasuptam Sanjeevayatya Kila Shakti Dharasvadhamna अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् समचरणसरोजं सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदाभं जघनविहितपाणिं मण्डनं मण्डनानां तरुणतुलसीमालां कन्धरं कञ्जनेत्रं सदयधवलहासं विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि OV 371. It is woman who, as a mother, always suffers pain and sorrow and tolerates hell of dirt, while it is she who makes a man hate his mother and get involved in his wife. 372. It is the woman who spoils a man's love for his mother, sows seed of hatred between brothers, and she entices a man by her whitish advances and finally banishes a man to the jungle of heretic attitudes. 373. Her glances are so sharp that when they penetrate the mind of man, he is completely hooked, and the poison which she inserts in the man's mind never leaves him. 374. As there is so much disaster in the company of women, the seeker who aspires to reach me should have no attachment to her, and he should not have any thought of liking for her in his mind. 375. If one remembers a woman, it disturbs the state of meditation and concentration. Her company is so bad, and the company of a person crazy about women is worse than that. 376. One may luckily escape from the influence of the woman, but the bad result of the company of such a womanizer is difficult to avoid. 377. There is a story of King Shikidwaja, who was saved from bondage of life because of a woman by name Chudala, and the king Kuvalashiva, Kuvalashiva, wa- Kuvalayashva, who was emancipated by the grace of a woman called Mandalasya. 378. The great Vashishta has described in his book how a woman by name Leelavati, by her penance, won the grace of goddess Saraswati and helped her husband to be liberated. 379. So, there are cases in which good women have by their grace liberated men, but there is no way out for a man who is caught in the company of a man infatuated by women. 380. One who is sold out spiritually to women and becomes psychologically and physically a slave to women and always obeys her every word. 381. Has great reverence for a woman as if she is some family deity who travels in the sky. He is dancing to provide all sorts of pleasures in the service of a woman. 382. If she hints that he should harass some relative, he barks at the man like a dog. But if she insults him, he runs away like dog with its tail turned between his hind legs. 383. He does not eat good and delicate food, but gives that to her, thus giving up his freedom of choice. 384. He feels that the whole world will be topsy-turvy if she is annoyed at any of his action, and the ocean of pleasure will be dried up if any of her wish is not fulfilled. 385. He is averse to worship God and goddesses. He deceives his parents, treats his guru with dishonesty, and gives all his possession to his wife. 386. In short, he dances at her whim like a monkey of a Madri, and if a seeker of liberation comes into contact with such a person, how can he be happy? 387. Even if such a man tells attractive stories about women, the listener experiences curious interest about women, and by arousing desire in the listeners, this man provokes them to approach women with similar motive. 388. What comfort can a seeker get from such a man? He will, on the other hand, lead the seeker towards hell. 389. It is therefore advised that one should not hear any story about such a man. If there is occasion to meet him, one should run away. 390. One should not meet him. One should not look at him. One should not talk with him, and one should not even follow him. 391. If one knows that such a man has just passed by any street, one should turn away from that street. So extreme should be one's attitude in this respect. 392. In all the three worlds, there is seldom any misery as acute as coming from the company of women and the company of such a man. 393. To be totally obedient to a woman and fulfill her every wish makes a man slave to woman, and this is detrimental to the spiritual path. 394. The main cause of being a slave to a woman is the sexual desire which arises in the mind of a man. So, the key to be free of this calamity is with oneself. If there is freedom from desire or complete disinterestedness in the heart of a man, who will who will care to seek feminine company? 395. Eknath says, the Lord said all this with extreme intensity, and listening to it, Uddhava also began to brood. 396. He asked the Lord about the action by which the heart will be desireless and about the way of meditation by which the attachment to objects does not disturb the peace of mind. 397. He asked about the meditation by which the decisive awareness of a man or woman divisive awareness of a man or woman disappears, and there arises the contentment in the soul caused by self-knowledge.
उद्धव उवाच यथा त्वामरविन्दाक्ष यादृशं वा यदात्मकं ध्यायेन्मुमुक्षुरेतन्मे ध्यानं त्वं वक्तुमर्हसि.
Meaning of the verse, Uddhava said, O lotus-eyed Lord, please tell me that meditation which is a seeker should practice by which you can be seen and understood. 398. Uddhava said, O lotus-eyed, O the life of whole world, please let me know that meditation upon you which the seekers practice. 399. Is that meditation qualified or abstract formless? What is the nature and the quality? Please tell me everything clearly. 400. Please tell me that meditation which is so sweet that you also like it and the mind when merged into it does not move away. 401. Listening to this question, the Lord Sri Krishna began to tell about the posture and breathing exercises, which are primary steps.
श्रीभगवानुवाच सम आसन आसीनः समकायो यथा सुखं हस्त्वा उत्सङ्गाधाय स्वनासाग्रकृते क्षणः.
Meaning of the verse, the seeker should sit straight and comfortable with his hands. With the Lord said, the seeker should sit straight and comfortable with his both hands placed on both knees, and he should look at the tip of his nose. 402. The Lord said, please listen to what kind of seat should be used to sit upon. If one sits on a stone for meditation, it is likely that he may suffer from some disease. If one sits on the ground, it is hard and becomes painful. 403. If wooden seat is used, the mind becomes dry and cruel. If a seat of a grass is used, the mind gets pulled away in many directions, such as the grass has many offshoots. 404. If the seat is made of leaves and the mind keeps moving just as a leaf moves in the mind. If black magic is to be practiced, he should use a black seat. 405. The seat of a deer skin causes knowledge to arise in the mind, and if a tiger skin is used for sitting upon it, the meditation leads to liberation. And if the seat of white woolen cloth is used, the seeker achieves various occult powers, and later on liberation. 406. Environment where the ground is clean and smooth and horizontal, plain, and there is no nuisance of any kind should be selected, and seating arrangement should be made there as I am telling further. 407. Darbas, a kind of grass dried and arranged properly, a piece of cloth, a woolen cloth, and a skin of either deer or tiger should be used for preparing a seat. That seat should not be too high or too low, and it should be square cut from all sides. 408. If the seat is high, it is not still. It may move, and if the seat is too low, the impurities and insects from the ground will be a nuisance. Thus, the seat should be flat and soft to touch. 409. On the seat, the seeker should adopt a pure mudra with palms and fingers on his eyes, nose, and ears, arranged in a particular way, and take a posture of Vajrasana or lotus posture. That should be very easy and comfortable to the body and satisfactory to the mind. 410. Then the spinal cord should be kept vertically straight, the body should be erect, and the three yogic positions, namely the Mooladhara, etc., should be achieved. 411. Then the palms of both the hands should be kept open, playing on both the knees, which create a beautiful figure. 412. Then the vision should be concentrated on the spot where the nose begins. That spot is between two eyebrows and the place contains on the subtle level of fire chakra. This is the spot of concentration of attention in the yoga practice. 413. The study of concentration of mind and the vision should be gradually executed, which results in the stillness of mind, and very naturally both the eyes remain half open. 414. When the vision is shifted to unity from diversity, it does not see any other objects but remain fixed at the spot mentioned just now. 415. Now you may perhaps ask how a seeker can achieve comfortable position, become successful in the three yogic bandhas, Mooladhara, etc., and the stillness of the vision. 416. Oh Uddhava, in order to explain this, I shall now tell you the method of the study.
प्राणस्य शोधयेन्मार्गम् पूरकुम्भकरे चकैः विपर्ययेणापि शनैः अभ्यसेन्निर्जितेन्द्रियः.
Meaning of the verse, he should cleanse the passages of the prana by Puraka, Kumbhaka, and Rechaka, and should slowly practice this course in the reverse order also. 417. The first step of yoga practice is to cleanse the passage of vital breath. The inhaling and retaining and exhaling of breath is a way of purifying the breath, and the apana, one meaning is exhalation of breath, and the other meaning is functioning of vayu in the abdominal region. 418. This breath control is possible only for a seeker who can control his sense organs, particularly the tongue and the sex. Otherwise, a man without this control may exert as much as he wants, but he will not be successful. 419. Now listen how breath is purified. First, one should start from inhalation, retention, and exhalation. And again to do exhalation, retention, and inhalation in the reverse order. 420. By the left nostril, which is called Ida, breath should be taken in, and then it should be held for some time, and that the breath should be given out through the same nostril. This is one method. 421. Again, taking breath in the through right nostril to hold it for some time and give it out through the same right nostril is also another method of breath control according to some experts. 422. But the most popular method is to use alternate nostrils in one breath control, in which the breath is taken in through the left nostril, and holding it for some time, it is given out through the right nostril. 423. Or the right nostril should be used for intake and left nostril should be used for release. But the later practice is improper. 424. So it is advisable not to change the methods or sequence. Once the practice is started by one method, it should be steadily and patiently followed by determination. 425. If one is impatient, he will definitely meet with disaster. Then he will be neither here nor there. 426. When an ant can easily climb a hill by its tiny feet, a horse, though big and strong, cannot climb it. 427. Similarly, in the study of yoga, personal pride of knowledge and experimentation will not do. He will definitely have a fall and will never be able to make progress. 428. O Uddhava, please remember that the seeker who practices to walk on the path of yoga as slowly as an ant is the person who really conquers the Om called Pranav. 429. When the study is perfect, the breath obediently functions according to the will of the seeker, like a brave warrior walking unhindered and boldly in the battlefield. 430. By the force of constant practice, the vital breath becomes so powerful that the difference between the prana and apana disappears and widens the petals of the chakras. 431. My worship is of two types. One is according to yoga and is in the abstract, and the second of Om, belonging to the worship of the form. Please listen to the details. 432. The two types of breath control are also to be told to you. One is with Bija Om, and it is scientific and pure. And the method of meditation on the form of God is the second type, in which Saguna aspect is important. It is without Bija Om.
नृत्यविच्छिन्नमोङ्कारम् घण्टानादम् विसोर्णवत् प्राणेनोदीर्य तत्राथ पुनः संवेशयेत् स्वरम्.
Meaning of the verse: in the heart, Om should be continuously vibrated like sound of bell, as delicate as a lotus pollen. That should be uttered by vital breath. It should be again included with the swara, the note of music. 433. It Om cannot be uttered with length of tone. The same Om is resonating. 434. In the heart, resonating in the heart continuously. It is ringing accompanied by breath control. 435. Sound is going on in long waves, which creates the impression of Om being recited. It should be practiced in the breath control in a steady way with resonance.
एवं प्रणवसंयुक्तम् प्राणमेव समभ्यसेत् दशकृत्वस्त्रिश्रवणम् मासादर्वाग्जितानिलः.
Meaning of the verse: in this way, he should exercise his breath, joining it with Om thrice a day, 10 times each, and within a month, he will have attained control over his breath. 436. In this way, some seekers tune the Om to be understood at the level of sense organs. The Om called Pranav, which is actually beyond sound, word, and the mantra, which is invisible and quite different in its greatness. 437. The utterance of Om is itself a wonder. It is rising sound towards higher levels and is always continued. They study hard to make this Om fixed, which is vibrating and producing a peculiar sound. 438. Thrice a day, 10 times each, this breath control with Om should be practiced by a seeker with steady determination. 439. Thus, breath control is achieved within a month. The breath obeys the seeker as a faithful wife obeys the orders of her husband. As the faithful wife obeys the order of her husband. 440. The seeker attains the full understanding of breath. It is he is having alert perseverance. 441. When thus the breath control is attained, the devotion is also of two kinds. One is worship of the image according to traditional instructions, and the other is the worship of the abstract principle through yogic practice. 442. But the satisfaction is possible only in the abstract, which fact you should remember well. Now the Lord explains the details of both types of worship in short. 443. My dear, at one stage there is no memory of Om, and if such memory exists, that Om together with his vital breath merges into the sound only, and only energetic sound of Om goes on. 444. Pranav is a state from which world begins and merges after being pronounced, and only the pulsation of inspiration remains. 445. When all the six chakras are developed by the help of Om, it goes further with determination in its utterance. 446. With the force of serpent power and desirelessness about worldly pleasure, it penetrates through the Shushumna Sushumna door and conquers the first place on the upward path through spinal cord. 447. By the din of 10 silent sounds, Anahata, the flag of victory begins to flutter, and further the path of yoga begins open. 448. Then the breath forcefully and joyfully traverses the path of two chakras, which are called Uttapi, Autapita and Gulhata. Both chakras are minute plaques in the region from eyebrows to the cortex and goes beyond. 449. Then the old memory is wiped out. The counter projections of thought are gone, and the lifeline of Jiva, which is full of joy and which is called the seventh facet, is touched. 17th facet is touched. 450. There the nectar is oozing in multiple sources from the thousand plate chakra, and it comes down to the 17th facet. 451. To describe this figuratively, we can say that when the seeker drinks from the source of nectar, the whole ground, which is his physical body with all the neuron complex network which has been hot, becomes very cool. The thirst of sense organs is quenched, and the triple ply of the three gunas become defunct. 452. Then in the secret chamber of Brahm, Brahm,
Bhramara Gumpa.
Brahmara, Brahmara Gumpha, where humming sound is always vibrating, the Jiva qualified Atman limited by the area of consciousness related to the separate identity of man meets Shiva, the cosmic unlimited consciousness, also called as a yourself, overself, and the area of the Jiva and the inspiration for his activities are both destroyed. 453. There Shiva and his power Shakti become strangely united, and the seeker experiences divine joy. Actually, only the divine joy supremely exists alone. 454. There is no talk, no purpose, no examples, not even the trace of Vedas and philosophic arguments, and there is end of I and you. What remains? Aloneness without cognizance of the state remains. 455. But please remember that there is no second factor or observer to say that it is aloneness. And this is the joy in the Atman, the very blissful state which those who are strong enough by the fulfillment of yogic methods can enjoy. 456. This path of yoga is really very difficult, and there are many calamities which make this path available to very rare yogis. 457. My devotional path is not like this. There are no calamities. My devotees always reach the same state. I shall tell you that also. 458. Now you may say that when there is no mention of yoga in the original text, how this clumsy path of yoga is described. This is all irrelevant, but please do not say so. 459. There is mention of period which the breath control is achieved within a month. This implies the path of yoga, and therefore I have made it clear. 460. When the prana and apana are conquered, this great yoga is successful. I have scientifically explained it according to the yoga science. 461. After the prana and apana are conquered, the seeker attains a state of either saguna or nirguna type according to his faith. 462. When both the things are achieved by the saguna, the worship, the nirguna or abstract principle of Brahman is also achieved. This is what the Lord is telling Uddhava. 463. Uddhava has asked him, what is the type of meditation to be done for you? To answer that, the Lord had described both the worship of image and the worship of abstract principle. 464. The image of God has a role to play just as there is a bait to catch the fish, and the Lord is now describing the inner meditation on God's image in his heart.
हृत्पुण्डरीकमन्तस्थम् ऊर्ध्वन्नालमधोमुखम् ध्यात्वोर्ध्वमुखमुन्निद्रम् अष्टपत्रम् सकर्णिकम्.
Meaning of the verse: visualizing the heart in the body in the shape of lotus bird turned upside down with its stalk upwards with 8 open petals, the pericarp turned upwards. 465. Just like the flower of a banana tree, there is lotus flower turned downwards and the stalk upwards, very delicate and having 8 petals at the place of the heart within the body of the seeker. 466. The seeker should, in the process of concentrated meditation and by the force of breath control, turn the flower upwards, and by his will, he should open up that lotus flower. 467. Then he should imagine, then he should image in his mind that all the 8 petals are completely blossomed, and this concept should be fixed by him.
कर्णिकायान्यसेत् सूर्यसोमाग्नीनुत्तरोत्तरम् वह्नि मध्ये स्मरेद्रूपम् ममैतद्ध्यानमङ्गलम्.
Meaning of the verse: he should picture in his mind the sun, the moon, and the fire as existing on the pericarp. He should, in the center of that fire, behold mentally my form as I am going to tell you. 468. Then he should imagine moon in the center of that lotus, concentrate his mind on it, and then within the circle of the moon, he should imagine the circle of the sun with all the 12 full facets. 469. Within that, he should imagine a very brilliant circle of fire with 10 facets, and within that circle of fire, he should mentally place my image, beautiful and auspicious.
The reading is going on so high and intense, I lost that time. But do we want to continue? Because the topic is like that, and complete the topic and then pause. For Singapore, it's 10:20 already, almost.
No, we are okay to continue. Vashish.
Okay, yeah. Because it's so intense. So in our head, it should complete it, and we should not leave it for tomorrow. समं प्रशान्तं सुमुखं दीर्घचारु चतुर्भुजं सुचारु सुन्दरग्रीवं सुकपोलं शुचिस्मितं समानकर्णविन्यस्त स्फुरन्मकरकुण्डलं हेमाम्बरं घनश्यामं श्रीवत्स श्रीनिकेतनम्.
Meaning of the verse: my image should be calm, equal in all the limbs, with beautiful face, with long, beautiful forearms, wholly handsome, with shapely neck, good cheeks, and clean smile. There should be 2 alligator-shaped shining ear ornaments put on both the equally shaped ears. There should be cloth around the waist and the legs, which is golden, and the image should be dark colored with Srivatsa jewel put on the chest. 470. Oh Uddhava, now listen to the details of the image of mine, which should go so mentally placed in the lotus of the heart, said the Lord, who began to give description of the image. 471. The image should not be too tall nor too short. All limbs should be proportionate. Seat on which it is standing should be plain, not uneven. The body should be beautiful with smooth reddish muscles befitting every limb. 472. The image should be facing the worshipper. Its face should be very beautiful and cheerful. By meditating on it, our heart is full of joy. 473. The eyes should be elongated like the lotus petals. The extreme corners of the eyes should look as if touching the ears. The eyebrows should be dark and like bows. 474. The forehead darkish and shapely should have yellow sandalwood paste with 2 spots of kasturi and rice mixed with kumkum applied to the forehead. 475. The nose and the forehead should be high, and the 2 raised portions on both sides of the forehead should be brilliant and shapely. The mouth should look very delicate, and lips should be reddish like overlap beads. 476. The chin should be as shapely as the new moon, and the face should be as pleasing to the onlooker devotee as if it is moon to the chakora bird. 477. The line and array of teeth in the mouth should be like diamonds or the grains of pomegranate and should shine like while the Lord would be talking. 478. The ears should be symmetrically placed on both sides of the face and should bear alligator shaped ornaments. The face should be smiling and the neck should be as nice as a conch. 479. The throat should have 3 folds of the skin, and the jewel kaustuba should be suspended on the string on the chest, which should be very brilliant, even more than the sun. 480. The forearm should look as round and smooth as 4 pythons, and the symbolic Srivatsa on the chest should also be very brilliant. 481. On the heart region, Srivatsa and Sriniketana, the 2 diamonds should be shining, and the 3 folds of the skin of the stomach with the mark of the rope around it, which Yashoda had tied around. 482. That Pitambar should be shining like gold on the darkly beautiful image. 483. When there is moonlight, the earth, which is blue, seems very beautiful by the delicate white sheen of moonlight. Similarly, the sandalwood paste made on his body should be simply stunningly beautiful.
शङ्खचक्रगदा पद्मवनमाला विभूषितम् नूपुरैर्विलसत्पादम् कौस्तुभप्रभयायुतम् द्युमत्किरीटकटककटिसूत्राङ्गदायुतम् सर्वाङ्गसुन्दरम् हृद्यम् प्रसादसुमुखे क्षणम् सुकुमारमभिध्यायेत् सर्वाङ्गेषु मनोदधत्.
Meaning of the verse: he should bear a conch, a discus, mace, and a lotus in his 4 hands, and a garland of sliven flowers, feet shining with anklets. He should be distinguished by the luster of Kaustuba jewel and graced all over with a glorious diadem, bristles, girdle, and armlets. He should be charming in every limb, pleasing to the beholder's mind, and with the countenance and eyes enlivened with grace. 484. His neck should be shining with Kaustuba jewel, a garland of wild flowers hanging down right up to the ankles, and a girdle bejeweled, giving out pleasing light around his waist with small bells jingling. 485. Then there should be around his wrist amulets, and around his upper arm they should be armlets. Then in the 4 hands they should be conch in the left upper arm and discus in the right upper arm, lotus in the left lower hand and mace in the lower right hand, and there should be various rings in all the fingers. 486. This image should have navel which is with a lotus in which the Lord Brahma is sitting. This detail is not for this image, but is the description of the greatness of the navel and applies to reclining Vishnu. 487. The Lord's legs and the feet are shapely, straight, beautiful, as if pillars hewn out of jewels. 488. There should be various auspicious signs on the soles of his feet, just like a flag, a gourd, a lotus, wheel, vajra, etc. 489. His feet should be smooth, delicate, soft, beautiful, and below the feet, 490, the soles shine with delicate rose light, which looks like the beautiful evening sky made beautiful by the reddish color of the evening sunrise. 491. Just like the shape of a new moon, the nails of his toes are beautiful. The calf muscles are round, smooth, and beautiful, and both the thighs and inguinal regions are beautiful and shapely. 492. Lions, though proud of the shape of their thin waist, saw the beauty of the waist of the Lord, and being ashamed, ran into the jungles to hide themselves. 493. They are still hiding in the jungles and not coming before him because they are shy. But they have taken the shape of the little bells on the girdle in order to be lucky to see the beauty of the waist. 494. The Lord has anklets making a tiny sound. He has great curly hair on his head and beautiful fragrant flowers weaved in the hair. 495. He has the exquisite jewel studded crown on his head. Thus, the image should be totally beautiful. 496. When the mind is fully concentrated on the image, the seeker will forget his hunger and the thirst, and he will be the happiest man. 497. The color of the image thus conceived in the lotus of the heart should be dark, the face should be noble, serene, and cheerful, and the lotus like mouth should be very happy and beautiful.
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः मनसा कृष्य तन्मनः बुद्ध्या सारथिना धीरः प्रणयेन्मयि सर्वतः तत्सर्वव्यापकं चित्तम् आकृष्यैकत्र धारये नान्यानि चिन्तयेद् भूयः सुस्मितं भावयेन्मुखम्.
Meaning of the verses. Thus, the beautiful, delicate image should be held in mind with all its limbs by pulling back the mind from the objects of senses together with the sense organs, and mind should be totally concentrated on the Lord. He should love me with his intellect helping him for meditation. He should contain all the he should contain the all pervading image of the Lord and hold it in his mind. He should not think about anything else and pay full attention to the beautiful mouth which is delicately smiling. 43. 498. The image should be so conceived as if it is so delicate that it will be damaged by a stare or a glance, and even by noon rays. For developing of love to the image, it should be conceived as soft and delicate as you can imagine. 499. The mind which is normally attached to the objects of the sense organs should be turned away by desirelessness. Wise persons do this and direct their mind to me. 500. When mind is thus withdrawn from objects and my meditation is practiced continuously, the seeker becomes one with me. The meditation should be so intense. 501. If the mind becomes disturbed while doing meditation, one should practice viveka and intelligent effort so that slowly the mind becomes impressed by the image of the God. 502. Then the impression of the image on the mind is not wiped out, though the constant concentration is not continued. The mind becomes one with the image. 503. That mind which is fixed on every limb of the image should be lifted from various limbs, and it should be centered on the smiling countenance of the image, and it should be fixed there. 504. Meditation should be directed to the smiling face of the image, and the mind should not be directed to the other parts of the image. 505. Again, I say that the mind should now exclude all other parts of the image, and only the smiling face should be the object of meditation. 506. Eknath says Uddhava had asked about the way of meditation should be done of the Lord, and the Lord has thus told him the details of his image, and now he is describing the main principle of Atman and its science. 507. Meditation should be again narrowed to the mouth only, which is smiling, and then the shape of the mouth should also be excluded, and the meditation should be done only on the smile itself. 508. Then the smile also should be excluded, and one should merge oneself in the joy, the bliss in that smile, and the mind should be fixed in that joy, and one should have complete faith in it. 509. The seeker then will attain the Atmic joy when he will concentrate on the joy which the smiling face of the God indicates.
तत्र लब्धपदं चित्तम्. So beautiful. आकृष्य व्योम्नि धारयेत् तच्च त्यक्त्वा मदारोहः न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्.
Meaning of the verse, the mind which is thus established in the joy should be then shifted to the abstract space, and even by leaving the space as the object of meditation, the seeker should not think of anything. 510. When there is joy, the seeker sees Chidakash, the inner space and outer space together. Everywhere he should be very alert. And when the consciousness is transferred into this vast nothingness. 511. Afterwards, the consciousness, the meditation, and the inner space, which are the three factors in the process of meditation, should be left aside, and the seeker should think, I am the Atman of the nature of movement without any separation, full with cosmic joy. 512. He should drown his attention in that I-ness, and then there is no inspiration of knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower.
एवं समाहितमतिः मामेवात्मानमात्मनि विचष्टे मयि सर्वात्मन् ज्योतिर्ज्योतिषि संयुतम्.
Meaning of the verse, with this intellect thus established, he sees me in himself and himself actually merged in me, the universal soul, like an individual light in the element of fire. 513. When I consciousness of the seeker becomes one with my pure nature, and when he is identified with me, the very arch I am becomes merged into oneness, the non-duality. 514. Thus the awareness of separate I and you disappear, and only the cosmic joy of my being remains everywhere. 515. Just as the brilliance of two flames becomes one when they are put together, so the jiva and the energy become one in non-duality. 516. There may be millions of little lamps lighted, and we see millions of flames, but the light in all the lamps is one only. Similarly, the jiva is of the nature of knowledge or chit in the state of non-duality. 19. When the body organs, the jiva is wrongly great entity. When the state of non-duality arises, the jiva merges into cosmic Atman. 518. Then there is only divine happiness, and there is nobody to make this statement. Only joy of Atman remains as joy. 519. What is that state? It is like sugar eating sugar, or water bathing in water, or ghee entering into ghee to enjoy the fragrance. 520. The Lord said to Uddhava, the meditation on me is the greatest fortune for my devotee.
अनेनेत्थं सुतीव्रेण युञ्जतो योगिनो मनः सन्न्यासस्त्याशु निर्वाणं द्रव्यज्ञानक्रियाभ्रमः.
Meaning of the verse, the misconception regarding the matter, knowledge, and the action will soon disappear from the mind of the seeker who concentrates his mind through the most intense meditation as aforesaid. 521. The Lord Sri Krishna said further, when with acute concentration, this way of meditation is completed up to the final stage of samadhi, trance, the seeker immediately becomes one with me. 522. This meditation is the best, and if the mind can do this properly, it wipes out the illusion about the personal, the objective, as well as the supernatural type. 523. The enjoyer of the object, and the action of enjoyment then do not remain. The knower, the object, and the act of knowing do not remain. The doer, the doing, and the action do not remain at all. 524. Similarly, in this state, there is no meditator meditating and the object of meditation. The observer, the thing to be observed, and observation do not remain. The mind, the mentation, and the mentator, thinker do not remain. 525. The God, the godness, and the state of divinity, the worship, the worshipper and the object of worship, the attention, the one who attends, and the object of attention are all destroyed. 526. There is no worthiness of yoga. The actual yoga and the enjoyment of trance or the unity of Jiva and Shiva are all gone with a trance, without a trance, trace.
Yes.
Sorry. There is no worthiness of yoga, the actual yoga and the enjoyment of trance or the unity of Jiva and Shiva all are gone without a trace. 527. In that state, what is to be understood? What teaches? What is the quality of teaching? What is bondage? What is freedom? The term Brahman also disappears. 528. It is my Maya which has created the three terms as Sat, Chit and Anand. That also I am going to explain it to you. 529. The Shruti says that I am in order to discard what is not and call me the image of knowledge. 530. Just as this is the game of Maya, there is another name as Paramanand, which is used to denote my nature of highest happiness and to deny even a trace of sorrow in me. This is also a game of Maya. So, to say that I am Satchit Anand is superfluous and a wrong term used with reference to knowledge and ignorance. 531. When there is no unreality at all, how can the term I am as reality be used? It is absurd. When ignorance does not exist at all, why and who will call me as the image of knowledge? 532. When there is no trace of sorrow at all, why use the word happiness and regarding what? It is therefore true that the name and the form cannot be applicable to me. 533. Acute meditation is that when the awareness of the three factors as observer, etc., are totally negated, and in that state, the seeker worships me and becomes eligible for Atmic joy. 534. O Uddhava, thus through this method of meditation, the worldly life is dissolved surprisingly, and when the seeker is convinced that he is really Atman, what remains is my pure being. 535. In that being, in that nature, there is neither joy nor sorrow. There is no mention of reality and non reality, or the two concepts as knowledge and ignorance are not problems anymore. 536. Then there is no name, form, quality, and the identification of I and you, awareness of knowledge and ignorance in that state, and the Atman, which is full of joy, is pervading everything. 537. Eknath says that Lord Sri Krishna thus gives wings of Atmic joy of devotion to Uddhava by using various logical arguments. 538. He said, O Uddhava, please remember very well that all the occult powers are at hand without doubt when this highest devotion is established in the mind of the seeker. 539, Eknath says, the Lord obtained the milk of happiness of the path of worship from devotion, and the essence which came out by churning it was given by him to Uddhava. 540. So, this is the 14th chapter in which Lord has himself declared, I am attainable only through devotion and all other means are secondary. 541. The worship of Hari is the collective essence of all yogas and the storehouse of Vedanta and the greatest secret in all, great secret in all occult powers. 542. The one pointed worship of Sri Hari is the real gain of the fortune, which is Atman, the real liking of the devotee for the greatest happiness and the abiding interest in all the sweet things. 543. Even Chandals are being purified by worship of the Lord. God is always obedient to man who has sold himself to devotion. 544, Eknath says, since Eknath has neglected liberation and held fast to one pointed devotion of Janardana, it is his grace that the unity with the Lord has become a toy and come to reside with him. 545. Though Eknath does not accept even the unity with God, it has rushed on its own accord in his house because of his faith in his Guru. Strangely enough, God has been hypnotized by that faith. 546. One who wants to attain unity with God should never let go of his loyalty and devotion. Thus says the Lord Sri Krishna. So, Eknath says that Lord is always standing attention before the devotee without a break. 547. The main essence of devotion is the constant uttering of the name of Rama, and he who does this is supremely fortunate in the whole world. 548. Eknath has surrendered himself to Janardana and uttered the name of Rama continuously. And surprisingly, the birth and death cycle turned its back, ran away, and the great occult powers became housemates and gathered at his door. Here ends the Marathi commentary by Saint Eknath on the 14th chapter of 11th skanda of Bhagavata Mahapurana, dedicated to Sri Lord Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. My God, so intense and
Sweet.
oh,
Wow. Wow.
the
This
last statement he says that only devotion is so hammering and I don't know if I can do justice to it, Varshaji.
no
But
explanation is only needed. It's a matter of feeling. Oh my God. So intense. So intense. Beautiful.
everywhere, the sixth chapter of Gita, Narayaniya, the meditation we have been doing for 21 days and we continued everything flash like oh,
Yes. It started as chapter 6, and then, my God, it just took off. Too intense. Wow. Wow. And your reading was so beautiful. Your tone, your voice, your speech. So we could, eyes are on the book, but we could visualize when you were reading. Amazing. My goodness. Do the closing prayers, my dear. What a moment this is.
like that. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om, Varshaji. Thank you for the wonderful meditation where we could feel this and
Yes, every moment, even I was thinking about that only. Even every moment I was thinking, and I was feeling so much.
yeah.
Yes, ever grateful to you, Varshaji. Ever grateful.
To
Two
him, with
words.
5 minutes. My God, amazing, amazing. Oof, this moment is so blissful. Like that it is. Hmm.
It's like my God, I can't explain it also. It's like that.
It's inexplicable. It's only experience. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikhilati. Really. Wow. We didn't even know that this is going in store for us tonight. It waited for this day, this moment, and last week it happened because minds have to
Actually,
be
really
to
waiting.
the test.
I was always thinking of Eknathi Bhagawat last week, whole week. I was thinking. I even asked Nikhila ji and Sajiv ji too. I asked whether class is there or not.
God makes it, no? He makes us available completely at that moment, and he made us read how he's telling to Uddhava, but he's telling to us. My God.
We are not like Uddhava, but we are a small, tiny devotee.
How he uplifted us. Good way for you to just go to bed with his thoughts like this now. See you all tomorrow. My God. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Nikhila ji.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Varsha ji.
And